Good morning. Today I am starting another topic is porosity and permeability. In last class, we have discussed about hydrologic property like aquifer and other types of aquifer. And, today's porosity and permeability. This is also the characteristic characteristic features of the rock, hydrological property of the rock. So both are important properties like these are related to the fluid of the sediment and their sedimentary rock, and these fluids are means fluids which are stored, which are moving through the rock, that is water, hydrocarbon, and spilled contaminants. And most of aquifers are the sediments, are the sedimentary rocks, and all the hydrocarbon are contained in sedimentary rock. Porosity means the volume of wide space in a sediment or sedimentary rock means is the ratio of the volume occupied of water upon total volume of the rock. That is porosity. And permeability is your moving water through the rock, means ability of the move water through the rock, that is permeability. Now come to the porosity. Porosity, any material that is wide space expresses percentage that total volume is VP or volume of the pore upon total volume into 100. This is your porosity. And VP means volume of the pore, volume of the pore is equal to total volume minus volume of the grain. Look here, this is like this. These are the grains. And the remaining space is volume of white. So this is your volume of pores, and these solids are volume of grains. Total volume is Vt. So this is very simple. Vt is equal to Vg plus Vp. Okay. So we can replace Vp value this Vt minus Vg. Okay. And now, what are the porosity depend on what factor? First of all, porosity varies from 0 to 70% in natural sediments, but exceeds 70% for freshly deposited mud. Several factors control porosity, like these factors are packing density. Packing density means arrangement of the particle in the deposit. More densely packed particle have lower porosity, means if your grains have more dense, then porosity is lower. Perfect spheres are uniform size. This is your cubic packing. Cubic packing, this means grain lie side by side and over by over. Okay, so cubic packing have porosity 48%. Now another packing is your rhombohedral packing. Okay, so rhombohedral packing is what? Like this. This is first grain size, and this is like this. Means this is look like this. Okay, and rhombohedral packing have porosity 27%. Now come to the shape. Does shape affect the porosity? Yes, shape affect the porosity. Tabular rectangular particle can vary from 0% to just under 50%. Porosity of the sediment of tabular particle means uh, tabular particle is like this, then porosity is your less than 50%, and if it particles are like this, then porosity will be 0, because there is no volume of the pores here. And natural particles such as cells can have very high porosity. Means natural particles such as cells, means these are the bivalves of the cells, means have porosity greater than 90%. Now, after the packing density and shape, second one is your grain size. Grain size affect the porosity. Grain size has no influence on porosity. Means if you have a large grain, if you have a small grain, it doesn't matter. Matter is only volume occupied in the rock on total volume. If in rock you have a large porosity, means number of means volume occupied by pores is large, then you have a greater porosity. And packing density is depend on the porosity affected by the packing density, porosity affected by the shape, and but porosity doesn't affected by the grain size. Look here, these are the grains, means d is the diameter of the one grain, n is number of grains. So this is d by n, d by n, d by n, and one diameter of the grain is this. So you know the porosity is equal to volume of pore upon volume, total volume into 100. This is volume of pore, means Vp is equal to Vt minus Vg. Now, look here. So, length of the side of the cube is Vdn. Okay. So, volume of the cube will be, means length, width, and height. So, total volume of the cube will be dn into dn, means dn cube. It's okay. Now come to the volume of the grain. This is your diameter of the grain. Total number of grain is n. Okay. So number of the grain will become n cube. Volume of the single grain, what will be? Pi by 6 d cube. This is what? This is spherical grain. Volume of sphere will be 4 by 3 pi r cube. If you convert r into d, r is equal to d by 2. Okay. So v will be pi d by 2, means d cube by 8. It's okay. 4 2 is 8. So this will become pi by 6 d cube. This is what written here. Okay. So volume of the grains of single grain is like this. If you have a number of grain is n cube, and total volume will become this. Okay. Now what we have a formula. Porosity is equal to volume of the pore upon total volume. So volume of the total volume is this, and one single volume is like this. Grain volume. Then what pores? Okay. So we put the value dn cube minus d cube minus n cube. This is total volume. Means I have replaces Vp value by this. Vt, this is minus Vg. Vt is this minus Vg. Volume of the grain is this. Okay. So cancel out this. Common is taken d cube and n cube. So this is cancelled out by 1 by pi by 6. So here is here that here is no size of the particle, means this porosity is doesn't depend on the any size of the particle, means here d is not available. So you can say that Porosity is doesn't affected by the grain size, but it affected by the packing density and other parameters. Okay. So another parameter. These are the direct relationship to the porosity. Another is there are some indirect relationship between size and porosity. Large grains have higher settling velocity than small grains. You agree? Large grains have higher settling velocity than small grains. When grains settle through a fluid, large grains will impact the substrate with larger momentum, possibly jostling and grains into tighter packing. Therefore, the lower the porosity. Okay. When grains settle through a fluid and large grains will impact the substrate of larger momentum, possibly jostling up the grain into tightening packing due to the weight of the large grains. So therefore, there will be lower the porosity. This is indirect relationship of the size of the porosity. Okay, but directly size doesn't affect the porosity. Shape effect. This is your finer grain size, and this is your coarser grain size. And consolidated sand. This is unconsolidated sand. Means in consolidated sand, if you have a finer grain of the fine grains, then you have a less porosity. If you have a coarse grain, then you have a greater porosity. In unconsolidated sand means non-compacted sand. If it is fine, then you have a larger porosity. If it is compacted, if coarse grain compacted, then you have a less porosity. Okay, so you have to remember this relation with the consolidation, unconsolidation, fine and coarse. Remember this: fine, unconsolidated have you better porosity. Fine, fine consolidated less porosity. Coarse consolidated better porosity than coarse unconsolidated sand. Okay, so next one. So generally, unconsolidated sand undergo little burial and less compaction than consolidated sand. Fine sand has slightly higher porosity. Okay, fine unconsolidated talk about. Okay, and fine sand tend to more angular than coarse sand. I've told you this is, and therefore fine sand will support a more open framework than better rounded, more spherical and coarse sand. Then another parameter after grain size is sorting. Sorting means better the sorted sediment, greater the porosity. This is direct relationship. Greater the sorted sediment, greater the porosity. In well sorted sand, fine grains are not available and fill the pore spaces. Okay, this figure will show the relationship between sorting and porosity and clay-free sand. Decreasing sorting. Here you have a greater sorting, and here you have a less sorting sediment. Means if you have a less sorting sediment, means finer sediments are lie between the two grains. But if you have a greater transportation, you have a greater sorting. The finer sediment will leave. Okay, so greater the sorting, higher the porosity. Okay, so we can say what overall porosity decreases with increasing sorting coefficient. What is sorting coefficient? First of all, sorting is different and the sorting coefficient is different. Okay, and for clay free sand, reduction in porosity with increasing sorting coefficient is greater for coarse sand than fine sand. And the difference is unlikely if clay was available to the fill pores. Another parameter is post burial change in porosity. Post burial change means includes process that reduce and increase porosity. Porosity that developed at the time of deposition is termed as the primary porosity. Porosity that developed after the deposition of the term, that is secondary porosity. Okay, so overall, with increasing the burial depth, porosity sediment decreases. If you increase the burial depth, porosity will be decreased. This is direct relationship. And this is the another parameter. 25% reduction in porosity with burial up to the 6 kilometer depth due to the variety of processes. Another after the post burial is compaction. Particles are forced into closure packing by the weight of the overlying deposit, that is means reducing porosity. Particles are forced into the closure packing by the weight of overlying deposit, reducing the porosity. May include a breakage of grains, most effective if they are the present. This is your wet mat. Wet mat have higher porosity. And compacted sediment means water expelled out. And this is cemented shale, means zero porosity. Okay. And Presley mud have 70% porosity, but burial under the kilometer of the sediment reduced porosity to the 5 to 10%. Then cementation. Precipitation of new minerals from pore water causes sedimentation of grains and act to fill the pore spaces, reducing the porosity. Porosity is same like your matrix, and matrix and cement fill the pore spaces and reduce the porosity. And these are the cement are calcite and quartz. Clay formation is formed by the chemical alteration of pre-existing mineral after the burial. And feldspar are particularly common clay forming minerals. Clay minerals are very fine grained and may accumulate in the pore spaces and reducing the porosity. The solution: the pore waters are undersaturated with respect to the mineral, making sediment, then some volume of the mineral material is lost to the solution. Okay. And calcite that make up the limestone is relatively soluble, and white spaces that are produced by solution ranges from a size of individual grain up to caverns. And the solution activity also reduce the porosity. One is a solution and one is solution activity increase the porosity. The pressure solution activity reduce the porosity. Quartz is relatively soluble where the pore water have low pH. The solution of grains reduces, means solution of grains, suppose that limestone is forming, and by the solution of the CaCO3. So if solution of the grain reduces the grain size, if grain size is reduces, then in volume of the pore will be increases. If volume of the pore will be increases, then increase the porosity. The solution is most effective means creating secondary porosity, and solution activity create the secondary porosity. Then pressure solution. Solubility of mineral grains increases under an applied stress. The process of solution under stress is termed as pressure solution, and solution takes place the grain contact with applied stress is greatest. Thus, pressure solution reduce the porosity. Pressure solution result reduction in porosity in two different ways. It shorten the pore spaces as the grain are dissolved. Insoluble material within the grain accumulate in the pore spaces of the grain are dissolved, means this reduce the porosity. Fracturing, this is direct. Fracturing increase the porosity. Fracturing of existing rock create a small increase in porosity, and fracturing in particularly important in producing porosity in rocks with low primary porosity. Why porosity is important? Porosity is important for oil accumulation and spilled contaminant, all of these things. Okay, so this is very important. And these are the some question related to your porosity. An undisturbed sample of medium of sand is sand weight is 484.68 gram. The core of undisturbed sample is 6 centimeter and diameter 6 centimeter in diameter and at 10.61 centimeter is height. The sample is over dried 24 hours is 110 degrees Celsius to remove the water content. At the end of 24-hour core sample weight will become loses this weight and become is like this. Determine the bulk density, void ratio, water content, porosity, saturation percentage of the sample. Okay. Means here is given 484 initial weight. And a core sample weight is this means 484.68 minus 447.32 is equal to what? This is your water content. Okay. Determine the another is your bulk density. Void ratio is your, you know very well, void ratio is your VV upon VS, means volume of void upon volume of solid. This is weight, and weight means mass. Mass is equal to density is equal to mass upon volume. So mass will be density into volume. Here is given mass and density of, this is your medium sand grain. Sand have density 2.65. If you can get the volume by what? Mass is your 484.68 upon 2.65. Then you will get the volume of the this sample, and then you will get the, this is again you multiplied the, sorry, divide by the 2.65 centigrade, then you will get the volume of the after dried sample. If you divide subtract the volume of this B1 and B2, B2 means dried BD, then you will get the volume of the pore. Okay, and the solid volume is this multiplied by 100. This is, you will get the porosity, sorry, void ratio. Okay, this is your homework question. Just I'm getting you hint. Okay, and this is and another is your saturation percentage of the sample. How much water saturate in this sample? Means water content is, suppose that if you get the minus, then you will get, suppose that 50. Total mass is your wait. This is your mass of the water content. Okay, and here you will get the volume of the water. So volume of the water will be your water content. Okay, so total water content is your means total saturation percentage. Okay, so total volume of the rock will be V1, and water content is, suppose that 50 by 484 into 100. This is your saturation percentage of the sample. And another thing is bulk density. Bulk density means this is the formula actually. Porosity have 1 minus bulk density upon something like this. You can see the Todd book in chapter 2 or 3. Okay, you can clear it. Means this formula. Okay, now by using this content, you can solve this problem. Okay, look like this. Look this. The wide ratio of unconsolidated clay sample is 1.1. Determine the porosity of the sample. This is very easy. You have PV upon Vs is equal to 1.19. Determine the porosity of the sample. One have direct formula. Porosity is equal to 1 is equal to 1, n is equal to porosity. So n is equal to 1 upon 1 plus E. E is your void ratio. Look here how. Porosity is equal to means Vp, sorry, n is porosity equal to Vp upon Vt into 100. Okay, suppose we just write Vp upon Vt. Okay, n is equal to Vp upon Vt is equal to Vp plus Vs. Right? Means total volume Vt, and these grains are Vs, and this is your Vp volume. Vt is equal to, we can replace this. So 1 upon n will be Vp plus Vs upon Vp. Right? So 1 upon n will be 1 means Vp upon Vp plus Vs upon Vp. Here, so Vs upon Vp is equal to 1 minus n minus 1, right? This is your Vs. Okay, so Vs upon Vp is equal to 1 minus n upon n. Is that clear? So Vp upon Vs is equal to n upon 1 minus n. Sorry, this is minus here. Sorry, this is right actually. This is relation to the E. Vp upon Vs means Vp upon Vs is equal to E. E is equal to, we have derived the formula 1 minus n. Okay, now you can replace this by n. E is what? E minus En. This is cross multiplication. Okay, so we need the formula in form of n. Okay, so E is equal to n plus En. Okay, so E is equal to n 1 plus E. So n is equal to E upon 1 plus E. This is here E. Okay, is that clear? Now you can solve the very easy. You need to calculate porosity of the sample. Here you have a void ratio. Void ratio is 1.19. N is equal to E is 1.19 upon 2.19. 2.19 means 1 plus E. Is that any mistake in have the formula? I think it is right. Okay. E and En. Okay. Now you will get the porosity. Porosity is always in percentage, so you should multiply by 100. Okay. Here you will get the porosity of the sample. Okay. I hope it's clear. This is again the porosity of the sample of sand pod is 38.41%. Determine the bulk density of the sample. Okay, you know very well formula of porosity is equal to P is equal to that I am telling you, 1 is equal to bulk density upon another is density of the grain. This formula is not clear, but you can check in chapter number 2 Todd book. Okay, here you put the direct value and you will get the bulk density of the sample. Okay, and here rho g will be, this is your quad sample, so rho g will be density of the sand will be 2.65. Okay, you can put and you will get. First you should check this formula. Okay, This formula will be in Todd book, chapter number 2 or 3, I think. I think 3. Okay. First of all, so these are the porosity of the percentage: gravel, medium, gravel, fine, sand, and these all are the porosity. You can remember only the sand, shale, and gravels. Gravels have greater porosity in other circumstances. Okay, but overall, shale have higher porosity. Gravels have dual actually porosity as well as permeability, but shale have only porosity. So this is another topic, vertical distribution of the ground. You know very well, this is very easy. You have already read in the MSc. So this is your impermeable rock, and this is your water table. So below the water table is your zone of saturation. And above the water table is zone of aeration. It is also known as Vadose water. And this zone of aeration divided into the 3 parts. One is your soil water zone, another one is your intermediate body water zone, and above the water table is your capillary zone. Okay, this is your capillary action. Means this is your capillary, and this is height of the water in the capillary. 2r is your diameter of this tube, and this is your surface tension. Yes, surface tension, not actually angle. So capillary zone, in soil water zone, this is your upper zone where the water is infiltrate. After the infiltrating of the water, and that water reach into the water table and lie at this point. And after this zone, these are the many reactions takes place. Another ore or another sulfides or oxide mineral are present here. Okay. So in capillary zone is important. Capillary zone is extend from water table up to the capillary, up to the rise of the water. And I have told you HC how to calculate rise of the water. This is your 2 pi r gamma cos delta. This is your formula. And T is your surface tension. This is constant value. Gamma is your specific weight of the water. R is radius, and delta is your actually angle of contact between Mencius wall and a wall of the tube. For the clean glass, delta is equal to 0, and tau will be this, means surface tension is this, and this is your density. Sorry, means specific weight of the water is this density is 1 gram per centimeter cube. So this is the example. You have to remember this formula. Capillary rise action SC is equal to 0.15 upon R is equal to, for this is capillary rise for clean water. Measurement of the water content. Determination of the water content of the soil can be measured by various direct methods based on the removal of the water from a sample or by evaporation, leaching, and chemical reaction, followed by the measurement of amount removed. Gravimetric method involve weighing wet soil sample, removing the water by oven drying it, and reweighting the sample. This is gravimetric sample. Means weight of the sample before the drying and after the drying. An instrument for measuring the soil moisture is neutron probe. Within the Vadose zone is negative pressure head of the water exists, often referred to as suction or tension in positive sense. This tension can be measured by your tensiometer. So available water for what? Soils absorbs and retain which may be withdrawn by plant during the periods between the rainwater or irrigation. This water is holding capacity is defined by the available water. Field capacity can be defined as amount of water held in soil after wetting and after subsequent drainage has become negligibly small. And a wilting point. Wilting point defines the water content of the soil when the plant growing in the soil reduced to a permanent wilted condition. This is your wilting point. You must have remembered these. If you what is available water, field capacity, and wilting point. Okay. Then specific retention. Specific retention and specific yield and specific coefficient. Specific retention is it is the ratio of water retained from the aquifer against the gravity. That is your specific retention, and formula of specific retention is your SR is equal to retained water upon total water multiplied by 100. Okay, this is WT, total water. And specific yield is what? Specific yield is yield water upon total water into 100. That is your specific yield. Okay. Look here. Estimate the average drawdown over an area is your 25 million meter cube of water has been pumped through a uniformly distributed well. The area is 150 kilometer. The specific yield of the aquifer is 25%. Now, what do we calculate? The water estimate the average drawdown means we need to calculate drawdown of the water after yielding the water. Yield means pump out. Suppose that this is your tube. Initially, water is at this position. After yield the water table is draw down like this. So what will be the this value? H. H is your drawdown value. Here is given estimate drawdown over an area where 25 million meter cube water has been pumped out. Means yield water is 25 million meter cube. Okay. The area is your 150 square kilometer, and the specific yield of the unconfined percentage, unconfined aquifer is 25%. This is your specific yield. Specific yield is wait. 25 upon 100. Sorry, specific yield formula is yield water upon total water. Total water is WT into 100. Okay, we need not to take here 100 because I have already taken here 100. Okay, so 25 by 100 is your yield water is 25 into 10 to the power 6 meter cube. Total volume here is given area. Area volume is equal to area into height. So area is 150 kilometer. Need to convert into the meter. In 1 kilometer is 1000 meter. Here is square kilometer. So this will be 10 to the power 6. This is H. Which means this height. Okay. Now it is this is simple mathematics. 0.25. This 10 to the power 6, 10 to the power 6 is cancel out. 25 upon 150 into H. So H will be 150 into 0.25 upon 0.25. Okay. So you can calculate this. What is the and H will be in your meter. This is very easy. You can solve it and you will get it. So this is all for today. And